Oh yeah. All right. Whoa. And now it's time for the Late Boomer Show, starring Stephen J. Morris. Yeah. Hey, who's that? Who's knocking on my door? Huh? Who's knocking on my door? Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't lost your head. Well, one time, never mind. You're such a tragedy. Now I gotta wipe you off and everything. We got a show to do. I'm sorry, boss. I'm sorry. Hey, you sit where you usually sit, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, boss. Yeah, you're sorry. Where did your parents come from anyway? Poland? Oh, that figures. My mom was a blonde. That figures too. Okay, I gotta turn the lights on. Get me sick, stupid. I'm so. Howdy, gang, it's me again. Well, I gotta tell you, my last video was a tragedy. The sound was way off. So, I'm gonna try again. I don't have any notes, so I'll have to wing it. Just like this girl here. I'm in love with my girl, my black girl. I'm talking about my cat. Come on, girl. Come here. Delilah. Come on, Delilah. Well, anyhow. You gotta watch your ass when you're on the internet. I did this whole thing about being Jewish, okay? But I don't want a Mossad or Shin Bet coming and making it look like an accident. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I'm sure you do. So I'm going to cancel that one. But we're going to talk about what everybody's thinking about. You ever get the feeling that this whole thing was choreographed, manufactured? You get this mentally... Well, let's back up for a minute. I've said this before. Try getting a gardening job, mowing the lawn of, I don't know, the White House. You know how many steps you have to go and how many hurdles you have to go? And there's background checks, there's physical tests, there's written tests, there's panel interviews. And, you know, you always got the Republican, why should the taxpayers pay you to mow our lawn? So, you have to go, it takes about a year. And then you get on an eligibility list. And if one, they hired the number one on the eligibility list, And if that guy gets sick or gets killed, then they go to the second candidate. And there's hundreds of people on that list. Now, to run for president, the only requirement you have is that you're a citizen of this country and you're above the age of 35. I think there's going to be eventually Congress, when they get around to it, constitutional amendment saying you can't be over the age of 65. So there will be an age limit. Now, here comes this corrupt man. And he, I don't know who strategized, who was behind, who was his manager, who was his campaign manager. They were smart. The first thing they did was to pay off churches and make them claim that he was sent by God. Smart move, because we got a lot of superstitious Christians in this country. Predominantly all colors, but predominantly white. That's why it scares the hell out of me if we have Islamo Christian fascist country, it's no longer man's law, it's going to be God's law. And if you cuss at your parents, they'll take you to the edge of town and stone you to death. That's what the Bible instructs you to do. Don't want that. Not only we need separation of church and state. We need separation of church and commerce. Because the Christians try to moralize the capitalists try to exploit the Christians, and it goes back and forth. They're not really allies, they're manipulators. They manipulate like this, We don't want any naked mannequins in the window. And they're not really naked. They're just putting on new clothes. So we got that silliness. But now we got the Epstein War. The Epstein War in Iran. And there had to be some type of conspiracy or master plan. Because Trump is getting away with a lot of shit. Yes, he is. He's getting away with it. Congress are a bunch of cowards. They're not really representing us. You might want to consider this. In the Constitution, you could impeach the whole Congress if you want, with a single swoop. You could do it. I don't like this Congress. Let's get a new Congress. You could do that. Until they're all paid off by different groups and different corporations and even other countries. APAC, which is supposed they launder money from Israel. They're money launderers. They take dirty money and clean it and give it out to the Democrats, and they are beholden to the guilt of the right-wing Zionist. Not the left-wing Zionist, the right wing. And we have to pay them. It's like we're a Jewish deli back in the 1920s, and some Jewish mobsters are putting a gun to our heads, giving us a protection racket. by a protection racket. Be ashamed if something happened to your delicatessen here. Be ashamed. Same thing with Israel. They're acting not Israel. Don't say Israel, because Israel is just the name of a country. It's not a Zionist movement. It's a biblical name. All right. So don't say Likud Party. Can you say it? Likud Party, because that's who's backing this up. IDF is beholden to the Likud Party and Shin Bet. So here we are. They dragged America, the little Satan dragged the big Satan into war. Because the Israeli army, IDF, could never beat Iran. There's 90 million people in Iran. There's 70 million people in Israel. That's almost the same as the Holocaust. So they need Big Daddy, the Goyim, the Gentiles, to fight their wars for them. So here we are. We're on the verge of World War II, and Trump is getting empire fever. He's getting empire fever. He wants to be the next Genghis Khan or Peter the Great. I'm going to conquer the world. I want to take over the world. And the stupid followers think he's doing for Christianity and for freedom. If this country was a hardcore imperialist empire, there would be no freedom for you. Matter of fact, if the Christians took over, and if you're playing with your dinky, all of a sudden here comes the God Squad with guns pointed at your head, that's will happen. That's what's going to happen. And I'm not trying to scare you. True, there was never really a Christian dictatorship. But you want to fuck around and find out? Because you already know about the theocracy, Islamic theocracy, how bad that is. But if you compare the views of Islam and fundamentalist Christianity, there's going to be a lot of similarities. A lot. And you're not going to be happy. Unless you don't want freedom. Unless you have a dependency on authoritarianism. Because if you let people boss you around, you have no responsibility, no agency. Do whatever you want, Daddy. Just give me my cookie at the end of the day. All right? This is one of the things I was talking on my Jewish tape. There is so much anti-Semitism. There's a lot of Jews that do not like right-wing Zionism. All right? And I'm talking about Jewish nationalism. Jewish nationalism has nothing to do with Zionism. All right? Get that in your head. Matter of fact, there's a lot of socialist elements to that. The Jews have their own homeland was to be a haven for Jews who were being persecuted by Nazis and other anti-Semites. If there was no anti-Semitism, Israel wouldn't exist. So come on, people, stop being anti-Semitic. And remember, just because I'm Jewish, I don't know how to fix your tax returns, all right? Just because I'm Jewish, huh? And I'm not a lawyer, and if you got a headache, go to your doctor. I have a Gentile doctor, by the way. Yeah. Jews are not great lawyers. Jews are not great doctors. There's good ones and there's bad ones. All right, well, when are you going to learn that? This is the 21st century. and you're stuck in these old primitive times. That's why I hate religion. It holds humanity back. It holds them back. And we can progress forward. You could go believe whatever you want. But don't tell me I have to wait to get married to have sex. Fuck you. Anyway, God meant for people to have premarital sex. There wouldn't be no white race if everybody waited till they got married to have children. But why do we have to have racial tribes? Because of religion. But I'm more anti-capitalist than I am anti-religion. So, that's all I gotta say today. I hope this tape comes out all right. Whoa. A, B, C, D. Bye-bye.